Welcome to NFL World, where the NFL starts and ends. I'm your host, Jacob. And today was surprising, I guess. I didn't see this happening, at least at this point. Jaire Alexander has been released by the Green Bay Packers. Alexander, who's 28, has played with the Green Bay Packers for, I think it's over the last 7 years. And when he's on the field, he's a good player. The problem is, he hasn't been on the field very much. This is not, like I said, it's not a surprise as in that he got released. It's a surprise that happened that he got released now. The reason I say that is because they could have released him or they could have traded him as soon as free agency started. Because before the end of last season, they had said that Jaire Alexander would not be on the team in 2025. I took that as we're going to cut him during free agency if we cannot trade him. We get to free agency, we cut, traded. Okay. We get to the end of March. He's not cut. He is not traded. Okay. We get to April, pre-draft, same thing. During, same thing. Post, same thing. Not cut, not traded. We get into May, crickets, nothing. The only thing I heard was about 3 weeks ago when they said, we've offered Jaire Alexander a restructured contract because Alexander's owed $17 million. We'll get into that a little bit in 1 second. But nothing after that. Didn't hear anything. The Packers insider said it as if he had signed the contract, but he didn't. And then this morning announced that he's been released. Now, why is the $17 million so important? If he's as good as I say he is, he's owed that money. He's actually owed an extension or pay raise in some way. Well, he's really good when he's on the field. Problem is not on the field. He has missed of 34 games that he could play in the last 2 years. He's only played in 14. He's missed 20 games due to injury or due to a suspension. The suspension is actually kind of interesting. I want to talk about this briefly. He got suspended not by the NFL, but by the team for 1 game. I think this happened last year. He goes out for the coin toss. He wasn't supposed to. He goes out for the coin toss and says what side of the coin they choose. And I don't remember what it was. And Packers like, this is not what we want. We don't want this. There's a respect order. He didn't respect the chain of command here. We got to suspend him. So they suspended him for 1 game. Then he got hurt at the end of the year and wasn't going to play for the rest of the year. And so they said, we might just cut him. That's how that happened, how that suspension happened, and how this really all started to turn a little bit. Because Jaire Alexander has shown he can play inside corner and outside corner. He can play both. He's shown that he can do both. He's way better on the outside, but he has shown he can play some slot corner. So there's 3 teams I think should be interested. Because really, you're going to understand why, I would have wrote in the description or in the title, Jalen versus Jaire, or Ramsey versus Alexander, because that's what it comes down to. You see, now that Alexander's a free agent, he's not going to have to worry about $17 million. The Packers are going to pay him that money. Whatever he's owed, he's going to get paid. The trade whoever would have traded for him would have had to pay him $17 million post June 1st, which is what it is. As it's June 9th, I believe. Let me check this real quick. Yes, Monday, June 9th. So they would have, but they instead of cutting him, no team has to pay that. Jalen Ramsey, on the other hand, isn't going to get cut. He is going to get traded, but he's owed $21 million in cash each of the next 2 years. Meaning the new team, because we're not in season, has to pay $21 million in cash. They don't have to pay it. Pre-June 1st, they would have had to pay at least, I think it would have lost $6 million in cap space. Now they gain like $4 or $5 million in cap space. So there's a reason they wanted to only do it post June 1st. What ended up happening was the reason they didn't want to trade for Jaire. That contract was too expensive for a guy who hasn't played a lot the last 2 years. He's 7 games in 2023, 7 in 2024. You have to go back to 2022, the last time he played above 10 games, which he played 16. The year before that, he only played 4. So this is an injury-plagued player. But when he's on the field, he's awesome. If you're the Cowboys or any other teams, I have the Dolphins that could be interested, the Packers, and the Cowboys for this reason. But let me give you the reasons why. Let's start off with the Packers. They just cut Jaire Alexander. They need a starter. They don't have a proven starter. They could go, of course, and sign free agents like a 35-year-old Stephon Gilmore. They could do that. They could sign or re-sign Rasul Douglas and bring him back. But he's kind of on the old side too. Or you could trade for Jalen Ramsey, who is 31, going to be 32. So he's an older player, but he doesn't have the health issues, the injury problems. He does not have those things. And you would have to give up a lot for him, but you could do it. There's 2 teams, I think, whether they say it or not, are interested in Jalen Ramsey. I think, in the sense of the argument, Packers, Cowboys, and I think the Cowboys and Dolphins are interested in Jaire. We'll get into that in one sec. But Jalen Ramsey, if that would be pushed through, would have to go to Green Bay. His entire NFL career, he has played in warm weather areas. Think of it: Jacksonville, the Rams in LA, and then with the Dolphins in Miami. Going to Green Bay at 31, I don't see them doing that, because even though he doesn't have a player, he doesn't have a no trade clause, they're still operating as that, so they can say we did right by the player. It's just something they can say, but it doesn't change anything. But if they wanted to, they could, and the Packers would then have to give Jalen Ramsey $21 million, which would be a lot for a guy who isn't playing here. You're paying him $17 million, bringing a guy to replace him for 21. It's a lot of money. They could restructure the Jalen Ramsey contract, of course, but then there's that. Then you have the Dolphins. They're trading away Jalen Ramsey. Jaire Alexander could slot right on in. Again, the injury problems, sure, but it's Miami. You can get anything in Miami. That fits their team. Plus, like I said, they save money by trading Jalen Ramsey away. They get the assets in that trade. Then they can just sign Jaire Alexander to a 1-year contract with $10 million or less. So they got younger, they got cheaper, and they don't have to worry about the cornerback room for 2025. They can do that. Then you got a team like the Cowboys, who they could be interested in both players. Let's begin with Jaire Alexander. Jaire Alexander fits what the Cowboys need, because the Cowboys have so many injuries at corner, and they don't feel comfortable with their depth. We saw that last year. It didn't work after Trayvon Diggs went down. It didn't work when Devon Bland was down. They had problems. They had 3 or 4 guys with injuries. Diggs has a knee injury. But one of the backups who played at the UFL, Josh Butler, he has a knee injury. He tore his ACL in late December. He's not coming back. The rookie they drafted, Savone Revel, tore his knee up last year in college, his last year in college at East Carolina. Who knows when he's going to be ready to go? And then you have Jalen Carson, who was just a disaster, but he's coming off a shoulder injury. So you have 4 guys who are coming off surgeries. And also, the one guy is healthy, Deron Bland, might not be playing outside corner, but be playing inside corner because you might trust him more inside because you don't have anyone else. So if you do that, now you need an outside corner. If Rebel can go week 1, you just need 1 guy instead of 2. Jaire Alexander could fit that because he'd be cheaper, it'd be a 1-year deal, and whenever Diggs comes back, if Alexander's playing great, he's a little banged up, or whatever, you can make that move if you want. And like I said, 1 year, $10 million, that's very cheap for you to do, especially in June, you can do that. How they could be interested in Jalen Ramsey is if they don't want to go the Alexander route, they could trade for a guy like Jalen Ramsey, who is only an outside corner. So yes, you would have to make a move on Deron Bland or not, and hope that your rookie, the 3rd round pick, Savone Revel, would be ready week 1. You're betting on that. But it would say, okay, this is a corner, outside corner. Okay, we're good there. Now we're just trying to figure out who's our outside cornerback number 2 and who's our slot. Which, back to the Jaire thing, you could have Jaire play slot cornerback if you really need to. He has shown he can do it. Ramsey has kind of gone everywhere, so he can show that he can do it, but I wouldn't put him on that in the slot role consistently. So there's that aspect of it. But this is really what it comes down to. For me, it comes down to this. The age. The contracts and the age. Jaire is 28 years old. He has an injury history. That is indeed true. But he's 28. Jalen Ramsey, who doesn't have as long of an injury history, is 31, going to be 32. So you ask yourself, do I risk the injury history in signing Jaire Alexander because he's younger, or do I take the older player who doesn't have as much of an injury history, who I'd also have to give a ton of assets for, and I'm going to owe $21 million in cash each of the next 2 years? Depends. It depends. But if I'm a team like the Cowboys or even the Packers who want to trade for a cornerback, you could do that. Or you could just, if you're the Dolphins or Cowboys, just sign Jaire and it'd be cheaper. You could do that too. But it really does come down to what is the age and the price. Can you get, because you could try to see if you can get Ramsey a restructured contract. So it's 1 year or 2 years, 20 million, or 1 year, 10 million. Or you can try to get Jaire to go under $10 million on a 1 year. You could do that too. Those would have to be further conversations you have further down the road, I should say. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think the Packers made the right call in releasing Jaire Alexander? And where does he go and play in 2025? Let me know in the comments. And while you're down there, like the video, subscribe, share the video. It's absolutely free. Helps me out a ton. For NFL World, I'm Jacob Hubert.